Welcome and thank you for joining us for the formal launch of Cardiff Metropolitan University's Global Academies. This event introduces our Global Academies initiative, a new interdisciplinary approach to research, innovation and postgraduate education designed to deliver economic prosperity, social justice and environmental sustainability for Wales and the wider world. The development of the Global Academies is one of 7 priorities identified in our strategic plan, a plan focused on the university's growth, diversification and improvement to address some of the most entrenched challenges facing Wales and the wider world as we exit the European Union and seek to recover from the coronavirus pandemic. Many of you will have attended the launch in February 2018 of our new Cardiff School of Technologies, another of our priorities. And I'm pleased to report that the School of Technologies now has almost 1,000 students, and the university has, for the first time, over 20,000 students coming from 140 countries, with over 11,000 students now based in Cardiff and over 8,000 studying our degrees in 17 partner colleges in 15 countries around the world. And the university has diversified by developing over 70 new degree programs over the last 3 years, including a wide range of provision in computing, engineering and robotics, and a degree apprenticeship in data science in partnership with the Office for National Statistics. Our new BA Primary Education with qualified teacher status has now recruited its second cohort this year of 164 students, making Cardiff Met Wales' largest provider of initial teacher education. And our new degree in policing sits alongside a new LLB law degree, which launched successfully this year. Building on strengths in design, we've also developed a new degree in architecture and a range of new programs in health sciences and allied health professions, many of which are supporting responses to and recovery from COVID-19. And this has been a challenging year for everyone. And at Cardiff Met, we've been able to use our strong financial performance to support a values-driven approach to the pandemic that's seen us invest in the physical, mental, and financial health and well-being of our staff and students, in retaining all staff on 100% salaries, and in recruiting to over 100 new jobs. And my colleagues have worked tirelessly to deliver on behalf of our students, and the improving performance of both staff and students is seen in sustained strong performance in the National Student Survey, significant rises in all major league tables this year, including a rise of 41 places in the Guardian University League table and a rise of 33 places in the Times and Sunday Times Good University Guide, together with the award of Welsh University of the Year for 2021. Building on these strengths and meeting national and international need, our first 3 global academies are Health and Human Performance, Human-Centred Design, and Food Science, Safety and Security. The 3 global academies serve to tackle global challenges identified by the UN Sustainable Development Goals and national priorities highlighted in the Wellbeing of Future Generations Wales Act. The global academies offer a solutions-focused approach, building on our high-quality education, which places emphasis on ethical, digital, global and entrepreneurial skills, something we refer to as the Cardiff Met Edge. And this approach has helped to secure significant improvements in graduate outcomes through our practice-focused model of professionally recognised degrees designed to deliver for Wales and the wider world. Using our expertise and a collaborative approach, we're working with a wide range of employers and stakeholders to address these global challenges in partnership. We welcome new ideas and approaches from students and partners in Wales, the wider UK, and around the globe who want to join us in making our world a more productive, inclusive and sustainable place in which to study, work and live, and I very much hope that you will join us in this quest. I'd now like to hand over to Professor Sheldon Hanton, Chancellor for Research and Innovation, who will introduce the research and impact of our global academies. Thank you.
Thank you, Cara, and good afternoon, everyone. The Global Academies cohere our research, our innovation, education and impact around key themes, positioning these within an international context using global challenges. Each Global Academy stimulates and facilitates novel researcher-led initiatives and articulates their impact to external stakeholders. Our research portfolio at Cardiff Met is very diverse. It ranges from fine art to exercise sciences, with impacts including the introduction of diabetic foot screening, head injury prevention in cricket and rugby union, helping people with late-stage dementia, promoting technology in the classroom, and the cardiovascular health of not only human beings, but also great apes. The Global Academies have foundations in areas of long-established research excellence at the university. The 2014 Research Excellence Framework rated Cardiff Met with the best quality profile among the post-1992 universities, with 80% of our submission as internationally excellent or world leading. Our return next year will be 4 times the size and evidence our increased breadth and quality in the area. All of our global academies aim to generate new knowledge and support curiosity-driven research with potential application. For example, Photography, a trademark spin-out company and part of our Human-Centered Design Academy, is an exploration of visual perception that challenges the 600-year-old theory of linear perspective on which virtually every vision capturing device relies, such as your phone or the screen you're watching me on right now. Photography offers a new way to see the world. We've invested in this and secured international patents to protect our IP. Not only has photography generated world-leading research at the interface between art, vision science, computer technologies, and advanced mathematics, it has wide commercialization potential with computer graphics companies around the world. Our global academies can evidence their impact as demonstrated by our work in the food industries as part of the Food Science, Safety and Security Global Academy. This is central to supporting the Welsh food industry with a focus on skills, jobs and economic impact. So far, it's delivered over £190 million to the Welsh economy and safeguarded or created over 3,000 jobs. Work within the Health and Human Performance Global Academy has been tackling the impact of the coronavirus. Our academics in health, well-being and psychology are informing public policy by conducting an ongoing study into public experiences of the pandemic. Also, our bioscientists are working on phases of antibody testing to see if antibodies are indeed long-lasting, increasing our understanding about long-term protection against COVID-19 as the basis for vaccination. Our postgraduate scholarships and knowledge exchange projects underpin the research pipeline for our global academies and contribute to the impact that they make. Our knowledge exchange makes significant contributions to the economy, with numerous knowledge transfer partnerships and skills grants secured in the last few years. These enable us to partner with industry to solve problems, improve products, and also enhance services. The infrastructure of the Global Academies strengthens the research and innovation delivered through our existing clusters, bringing them together, developing world-leading interdisciplinary and international research and postgraduate study. This encourages greater interdisciplinarity and will continue to achieve all of the modern challenges. The Global Academies provide an excellent basis for increased engagement with local, national, European and other international initiatives. As capacity for engagement develops and grows, there will be more opportunities for colleagues to collaborate both internally and with external stakeholders. This will enable us to ensure that others benefit from the research and innovation taking place at Cardiff Met, and that we play a key role in shaping places as well as people. I'm now pleased to introduce Leila Gouran, the Director of the Global Academies, who will now offer you more insights, examples and details into each academy.
Thank you, Sheldon. The Global Academies help us to position what we're doing in Cardiff Met alongside the challenges we face as a society. By doing this, we articulate our place in the world, we draw the eyes of our stakeholders to what they feel is relevant, and we can, by beginning to map our work against the UN Sustainable Development Goals and the Wellbeing of Future Generations Act, know that what we're doing is making a positive difference. We're joining the dots. When developing the Global Academies, we knew we needed to do something that built not only on our recognised research strengths and impact as Sheldon has set out, but also on the way we work at Cardiff Met, which is generally collegiate, agile and embedded with the people and organisations around us. Therefore, we set out 3 key objectives. Firstly, we will use the collegiality that already exists across the university to bring a diverse range of academics together to create interdisciplinary teams that will deliver innovative projects that address complex challenges. Using the collegiality that runs through the university, we began a series of activities that bring our academics from different schools and disciplines together to collaborate and pilot new ideas. As a first step, we installed a programme of interdisciplinary workshops and seed funds for collaborative projects, with plans to extend these externally over time. Secondly, we will demonstrate our agility through the development of new cross-school, market-led taught masters courses that respond to international market demand. Schools and professional services are working together to analyse the data that's informing our planning and to narrow down the options for our exciting new provision. And finally, we will communicate the work taking place at Cardiff Met that's making a positive impact on the world internally and to our stakeholders. We've created a presence online and within Cardiff Met that sets out what the Global Academies are and why they're important to us and to our external stakeholders. We're actively promoting our research so that we can positively impact as many people as possible. And we're using events such as this as a first step towards wider public engagement that will help us to further develop and embed this initiative. We would like you to get to know the Global Academies during this event and appreciate the work within them that makes an impact. Over the next few minutes, I aim to give you an overview of our Global Academies in health and human performance, human-centred design and food science, safety and security, with some examples of the work they include. The Health and Human Performance Global Academy includes research and innovation that focuses on helping us to be the best we can be, whether this is tackling health issues and diseases, improving our mental health, or becoming a business leader. Underneath the umbrella of this Global Academy, there are a variety of projects, such as those that prevent, predict, or treat illness or injury, enhance leadership and business skills, or improve sporting performance. Academics within this Global Academy are engaged in work to create a strong Welsh economy. They have recently produced policy options for the Welsh Government to trigger transformational change and are engaging hundreds of participants and organisations in leadership programmes that help them to design and deliver strategic growth plans for their businesses. Meanwhile, our experts in education have made a major contribution to the biggest overhaul of Welsh education in 30 years. The new curriculum for Wales will be implemented in all Welsh schools in 2022 and will eventually impact every school child in the country. Our postgraduate study opportunities in this area are broad, ranging from psychology, sport and leadership-based courses to biomedical sciences. PhDs are sponsored by charities and businesses, tackling issues such as physical injuries and homelessness. The Human-Centred Design Global Academy helps us to use our expertise in design and design thinking to solve problems in any setting, improving the world around us. By taking our expertise in design thinking into other disciplines, we can approach problems in a new way, creating new solutions. Our embedded design-led approach has resulted in innovative research projects across the university. Our academics use this approach when working with external stakeholders to create award-winning products and services for innovative companies, ranging from startups to blue chips across the world. Examples include working with the European Central Bank to improve processes and develop new services, companies like Kenwood to map the customer experience, and SMEs like Salnovo, an innovative medical device company, to design their user interface and achieve both CE marking and FDA accreditation. If you've been watching the telly or following us on social media, you may have seen some of our researchers in inclusive art and design talking about the hug, a long-armed, soft, cushion-like wearable object that contains a beating heart and plays music. The hug was found to transform and prolong the lives of adults living with dementia. The hug was selected by the UK care industry as a finalist for Outstanding Dementia Product of the Year, and last year the BBC made a film about the study. A spin-out business has been established to commercialise hug. This is supported by the Alzheimer's Society and Cardiff Met and has resulted in the creation of new jobs. Finally, the I Value You Wellbeing app was the result of an innovative year-long partnership between our education researchers and primary schools in South Wales. The app is an excellent resource for mental and physical wellbeing strategies for young people, parents and teachers. The I Value You Wellbeing app is available to download in the App Store. Postgraduate study within this Global Academy includes our Master's course in Global Design, which educates graduates about activating global, local and individual change in order to build a sustainable and vibrant future for the planet, its ecologies and its people. PhDs are placed in companies exploring things like methods of industry innovation and data visualization. The Food Science, Safety and Security Global Academy makes an impact through activities such as new product development, consumer health, inward investment and export initiatives. From food marketing to nutraceuticals and dietary research, through its diverse activities, this Global Academy supports the food sector to overcome the challenges highlighted in the Economic Action Plan, whilst pushing the boundaries of new knowledge to improve the safety and the quality of our food. Adopting an interdisciplinary approach, our food scientists join our experts in user-centred design to support the food industry using the Perceptual Experience Laboratory, PEL. PEL uses the photography-enabled technology Sheldon described to simulate real-world environments through the use of immersive sound, smell, temperature and vision. PEL is used to assess the impact of food branding, packaging and placement on consumers. This helps us to work with food retailers to develop products that are competitive and has also been used to design food packaging that makes healthy food more attractive to children. Our academics in food technology have joined forces with the UK Intellectual Property Office and an Indian university to help expand UK-India trade in the food sector by helping businesses in both countries to understand local regulations and barriers. The newly established Food and Drink Entrepreneurship Programme will centre on delivering bespoke advice to UK companies on exporting to India and training key Indian companies in intellectual property rights protection. Postgraduate study in this Global Academy includes master's courses in food science and technology. These postgraduate courses attract many international students and crucially include work placements in industry, affording our master's graduates real-life experience in a diverse sector. Students learn not only about product development and safety management, but also about the role of chemistry and biochemistry in food and design production. Current PhDs within food manufacturers focus on hand hygiene compliance and cleaning optimization. You can see student videos about our Masters and PhD programmes within each Global Academy on our web pages. It's hard to capture all of the work within the Global Academies in a brief update. I hope that you will take a few moments to explore our web pages for more examples and information. The aim of the web page content is to make you aware of some of the work within Cardiff Met you might not be familiar with, so that you can recognise the contribution we're making, and also to encourage you to consider how you might interact with the Global Academies through study, collaboration or partnership to support your own endeavours. There are tabs to click on to collaborate with us or study with us under each Global Academy. I hope it's clear from this event that the Global Academies are an ambitious project that are initiating a step change in research, innovation and education. We're at the beginning of a long and exciting journey to increase our activity, collaborations and ultimately impact on the world around us. Our first 3 Global Academies build on our excellence in research, innovation and education, and will be followed shortly by another with a focus on place. And I look forward to sharing more information about that next year. Ahead of each Global Academy will act as a senior academic lead, spearheading new collaborations and postgraduate provision that utilises and builds on our research excellence and impact. In developing the Global Academies, I've been supported by some of our professors from across the university who are leaders in their respective fields. Along with my colleagues in Research and Innovation Services, they've helped me to shape the initiative. I'm pleased to introduce some of them to you now to talk more about their work. Starting with Professor Diane Crone, who's the Director of the Centre for Health, Activity and Wellbeing Research, and who has been involved in health and wellbeing research across the EU for over 20 years. Di's project aligns to the Global Academy in Health and Human Performance. Over to you, Di.
Thank you, Leila. Good afternoon, everybody. The Global Academy in Health and Human Performance provides a unique opportunity to develop interdisciplinary approaches to address some of our biggest health and people-focused challenges in society. It will enable us to apply our expertise across this broad spectrum of health and human performance and to develop solutions to enable people living in our varied society to live fulfilling and healthy lives. One of the challenges that society faces and that my project focuses on is growing levels of mental health problems within our society. The aim of the project I'm presenting to you today, named Project Sphere, is to promote and further increase opportunities for people with mental health problems to benefit from sport and physical activity. Sphere draws from 7 partner countries across the EU. It combines the expertise of a multidisciplinary group of partners ranging from academics in public health, exercise science and psychology, psychiatry, and local government and third sector organisations focused on promoting sport and physical activity. Sphere brings this multidisciplinary team from across the EU to promote and increase opportunities for physical activity through the development of evidence-based, co-produced guidelines for practitioners and health professionals. Through this collaboration of multidisciplinary partners, Sphere has firstly reviewed the evidence and extracted key features that promote positive mental health. We've reviewed current practice across the EU and co-produced through multidisciplinary collaboration a series of guidelines, which were then tested in 4 EU countries in Italy, England, Finland and Croatia. Following the evaluation of the use of the guidelines, Sphere has produced a practical, useful guide for professionals working with people with mental health problems. These easy-to-use guidelines apply the science with practice. Through collaboration with others within the Health and Human Performance Global Academy, I know this project represents just one of many examples. The Global Academies will provide our staff and our external partners opportunities to further develop many more innovative and collaborative projects where we can work together to solve some of the biggest challenges that our society faces in today's world. I'm pleased to introduce Professor Andrew Walters, Director of Research at the International Centre for Design and Research, PDR.
Thank you, Diane. Human-centered design refers to the identification of people's needs and values and using those needs as a starting point for the development of solutions. It is a structured approach to the discovery of needs, the definition of problems, the development and testing of ideas, and the delivery of solutions. This creative approach has been the backbone of product development for decades, but is increasingly used to develop services, new processes, lead organizational change, and facilitate interdisciplinary research. As Leila has mentioned, at PDR we have used this approach to create many international design award-winning products. We've used it to stimulate regional innovation and to lead research projects with science, engineering, management, healthcare, and government partners. At PDR, we are excited to be part of the Human-Centered Design Global Academy. We will take this opportunity to build better partnerships across the university and beyond, lend our design expertise to strategic projects that genuinely address global challenges, and help find ways of ensuring both our practice and research informs the next generation of students on the importance of human-centered problem solving. Because human-centered design can serve as both a facilitator between disciplines or as a leader of creative approaches, it is well placed to address global issues and the changing demands on universities and the changing needs of policymakers, businesses, and students. As part of the remit of the Human-Centered Design Global Academy, we will look at postgraduate education to determine how experience across research and innovation can link to the creation of new market-led courses, delivered in new ways and transcending disciplines to address emerging needs. As an example, learning from our research and innovation work in surgical and prosthetic design, we identified a need for new forms of training that use design skills to improve surgical outcomes in facial reconstruction. Through the Human-Centered Design Global Academy, we have an opportunity to explore how our existing postgraduate provision in dental technologies in the School of Sport and Health Sciences can build on our globally recognised surgical and prosthetic design research conducted in PDR to deliver new qualifications that match a need for new skills within health services. In this example, we can see that the global academies act as a useful catalyst for collaboration. By identifying human needs and placing them at the centre of new course development, we will find many more innovative and highly valuable ways of delivering postgraduate skills that demonstrate how Cardiff Met is responding to existing and emerging global challenges. Now, I'm very pleased to introduce Professor David Lloyd to talk about 025 Food Industry Centre and how it will work with the Food Science, Safety and Security Global Academy.
Thank you, Andy. The Global Academy in Food Science, Safety and Security is going to bring together the rich diversity of expertise relating to food supply chains and food production that's housed within the School of Sport and Health Sciences and in complementary disciplines across the university, from the virtual food consumer facilities in our School of Art and Design to the artificial intelligence expertise housed within the School of Technologies. The Academy will be able to maximise the university's engagement in areas such as food, health and economic challenges facing our society. For example, the Academy houses one of the UK's largest bioaerosol chambers, which our microbiologists use to test the efficacy of novel decontamination agents within food processing environments. Our staff have extensive experience in researching the impact of using ozone to decontaminate food processing surfaces. However, in recent months, this expertise has been used to assess other materials in the fight against COVID cross-contamination. This type of research aligns perfectly with our international partners, such as the Institute of Food Safety and Health at the Illinois Institute of Technology in Chicago. The development of the Academy will allow further international partnerships in subject areas which are important in societies which, although diverse in their culture, have common aims. The second area in which the Academy has significant experience is in food safety behaviour. The importance of food safety culture within food processing sites is now recognised globally, and it's a key component of all globally accredited food safety standards. Its origins, however, emanate from research at our university and our work with the Disney Corporation, undertaken right at the outset of this movement. In recent years, and in conjunction with international partners, this behavioural research has been used to support society's most vulnerable groups, including infants, the elderly and immunosuppressed. And indeed, Cardiff Metropolitan University was the first UK university and one of the first globally to investigate food safety practices for cancer patients and their carers. We're also the UK's leading university department in the development and delivery of knowledge transfer programmes for the food sector. In the past 10 years, Academy staff have engaged in more than 200 knowledge transfer programmes, generating significant outputs for the sector and creating valuable data to feed back into our food research teams. And these food research teams have then helped to develop models which underpin this engagement with industry. For example, models developed within our food safety behaviour research teams have been used to embed behaviour and culture change within food companies. And as Sheldon pointed out, these programmes and practices have created outputs that underpin the success of the food sector, with over £190 million impact for the private sector in Wales and supporting the launch of over 300 food products, many of which feed international markets. In recent years, the Academy staff have supported 60 startup companies in subject areas that include legislation, labelling, nutrition, shelf life, and new product development of foods. The close relationship that Academy staff have with industry allowed staff to engage with 240 companies early in the pandemic to evaluate its impact on the sector. Research partners in New York, North Carolina, Australia, and New Zealand engaged with staff at the Academy to bring an international perspective to the impact of COVID on the food chain. And these international links will only be strengthened by the development of our Academy. The applied nature, expansive engagement with the private sector partners, and significant impact of the Academy staff's work have also led to an increased engagement with government departments, both at home and internationally, to support trade missions and foreign direct investment engagement in countries such as China, Japan, and the USA. This work resulted in one of the largest privately owned global food companies located in its European manufacturing site in Wales, following extensive development work at the Academy's facilities. We know that the type of applied research and knowledge base housed within the Academy are attractive to international businesses looking to locate into the UK, and we look forward to working with those partners both in government and in industry to facilitate sustained complex food chains in modern society, encompass the globe, and the international content of our higher degrees are mirrored by the multinational profile of our students studying for those higher degrees in food-related subjects at Cardiff Metropolitan University. It's already recognised internationally for its work in food science, food safety and food security. The team looks forward to expanding its international portfolio through the Global Academy. I'll now hand back to Leila, who'll take questions.
Thank you, David, and thank you also to Di and Andy for that insight. Yes, it's time for the question and answer portion of the event. We've been receiving questions while we've been talking, one of which I can make a start on answering now, which is how many honorary consuls are attending, from Michael Rye. We've got a wide international network here at Cardiff Met. Our transnational education partners from around the world are tuned in through our Global Engagement Office. Our contacts in Brussels and Europe are also tuned in today, and we've got over 200 people on this call. And I've also got a first question that I'd like to put to Cara. There's a few along the same lines, which is what, Cara, inspired Cardiff Met's Global Academies?
Thanks. I think that's actually a really good question. And I think the academies they are in themselves inspirational. I think for all of us, they're the accumulation of many years of knowledge and insights gained across the sector, not just in the UK but also globally. I mean, speaking personally, this was something that I was very keen on developing when I joined Cardiff Met 4 years ago. I'd seen similar development, sometimes in Russell Group universities, the research-intensive universities. And I saw at Cardiff Met a real potential to develop this area, because Cardiff Met certainly punches above its weight in terms of research. It's renowned for high-quality research. That was identified in the last UK-wide assessment of research. Sheldon referred to it. I was actually involved in that exercise and very impressed by a lot of the very innovative work that I saw here. In fact, that was probably quite inspiring for me in thinking of joining Cardiff Met. And that slide that you saw that Andrew put up of the skull with the mesh implant, terrible phrase to use, but it did blow my mind when I saw it at first. And this for me was work that was at the interface between conventional disciplines. And certainly through my work at Edinburgh University, where there were something similar to global academies, through my work in the REF, I could see that the real innovation, it doesn't take place at the centre of disciplines or the centre of a subject field. It takes place where different kinds of knowledge, and therefore different types of academics and practitioners, kind of rub up against each other, and there's this almost this zone of conflict and tension as you create new ideas. And within Cardiff Met, we could see that this could happen very readily between, for example, sport and health, or between design and health. So these areas that could really bring innovative solutions to, as we've called them, the really entrenched, the difficult challenges and problems. So I think Cardiff Met was kind of ripe for this development. It's a university that's very agile, has a very strong community. People collaborate well, they communicate well, they're willing to get outside their comfort zones. So the conditions were there to create this kind of development. And I think, we've seen staff embrace it incredibly enthusiastically and now get out there and deliver the results. So that was kind of it from, inception 4 years ago to delivery today. And obviously the academies have been up and running now for a little while and doing really good work. Thanks, Leila.
Thank you, Cara. Our next question, I'm trying to combine our questions for our panel. We have one that Andy, I hope that you can answer, from Geraint, which is about balancing and leveraging place against the global impact.
Thank you, Leila. Yeah, that's an excellent question, Geraint. Thank you for that. We're talking here constantly about addressing global challenges and having global impact. But we shouldn't forget that in addressing those challenges and having that impact, it has an impact here at home in Wales as much as it does on the rest of the world. And that certainly fits very, very well with our experience in innovation here. So our history comes from a long time supporting Welsh companies and Welsh SMEs to move up the value chain, to innovate more effectively, to use design skills more effectively. And as we built up that expertise here in Wales, we found those skills and approaches to problem solving were needed more and more globally. And that got us involved with lots and lots of international projects. And then within those international projects, we're learning more and more about how other places are using these skills and implementing these approaches to innovation. And that's really useful, not just because of the impact that it has on the world, but useful in that's knowledge that we bring back here to Wales. And that's knowledge that we use then in further innovation funding that we might get from the Welsh Government, but also in further research council type funding that we might get that also has an impact here in Wales. So as an example, we are part of the Creative Clusters programme, which is trying to have that real impact in the creative industries seeing how they can improve their R&D potential, and that's very much drawing on the expertise and the skills and the knowledge that we have built up through working with international partners. I hope that answers your question. Thanks very much, Leila.
Thank you, Andy. Thanks for that. We have a question from Andrew Martin, congratulating us on our launch, but also asking how the Global Academies will work across sectors to directly support impact on the small businesses in Wales and to deliver direct economic growth into Wales' rural and urban economies. Now, David's an expert in this area and has done a lot of this kind of work, so I'll hand over to you, David.
Thank you, Leila. Thank you, Andrew, for the question. It's multi-directional. We obviously sit within Cardiff Metropolitan University, but we're already members of local and national organisations. So the Food Industry Centre and the Academy is one of 3 food centres across Wales. We're in South East Wales, but it's a pan-Wales process. So we can access the whole of Wales, whether that be rural Wales or the valleys, as well as all the urban areas. And really, we're looking with the launch of the Academy to better engage internally with all the expertise that exists and is so broad within the university, but also to engage with the national organisations. Now, obviously, being a university, we have access to international expertise, as I've already hinted in my speech. We have access to expertise in food-related issues on all continents, and it's about bringing that link with all of those global experts back into the university and disseminating it out through our academics and through our workers within the Academy back into the rural and urban areas within Wales. And as you grow the food sector, and as you bring that expertise, that global expertise, into small to medium-sized companies even, then you get the spin-outs into the service industry. So we know that we have a strong food industry, but then that spins out into engineering companies and hospitality companies within the same area. So it's multi-directional.
Thank you, David. Thanks for that. We've had quite a few questions in. The next one I think I will take, which is what needs to happen for the Global Academies to maximise their potential. And we've had a few questions about how we'll interact with our international partners and draw on their skills and experience and expertise. You know, the Global Academies, we've got big plans. They're about involvement, getting people involved, letting people know, letting our partners internally and externally know when they're involved in the Global Academy, and helping them see how what they're doing, whether that's a postgraduate researcher or an academic doing their own research, how that links to the bigger challenges and how that links to the Global Academy. So it's about making people feel involved. It's about collaborating, so using and leveraging our existing networks, as we've mentioned in this Q&A, leveraging them and doing as much with our existing partners as we possibly can, and also extending our network. So that means local networks, but it also means European and international networks. And then finally, we really need to communicate what we're doing. Events such as this, our web pages, just letting people know what our impact is so that they know how that they can benefit from partnering with us. So we've got big plans, and it definitely includes our international as well as our local partners. I've had another question here, which I would like to put to Sheldon, please, which is which areas of research excellence will be highlighted by the next REF and how this will impact on the Global Academies. Sheldon?
Thanks, Leila. So we've got a number of key research trends here. Our most mature areas are in art and design, in sport and health sciences, and also in tourism. But we have some really exciting emerging areas of strength in education, management, English, and in technologies. One of the things that I think, are particularly proud of at this university is the ability to generate really high quality impact. And one of the things that's run through many of the contents and presentations this afternoon is the sort of economic, safety and policy impacts that we have. But I think one of the most important things that we haven't really covered is that global academies, they are based on interdisciplinarity, and they're designed to build on our strengths in the aforementioned areas. But with interdisciplinarity also comes serendipity and natural evolution. We won't be able to always predict and be proactive against every global academy, every global challenge. But as the current situation really exemplifies, it's the idea of being responsive as well. The one thing I would like to think is that we'll always be able to advance knowledge and benefit the wider society, and that then will in turn will inform the kind of global academies that we inform in the future. Thank you, Leila.
Thank you, Sheldon. We've had a couple of questions about our short and longer term aims for the global academies, so I can quickly pick up on that before I hand over to Di for another question. So short term, now immediately on what we've already been doing, we've been doing a lot of work, awareness raising and getting people involved, like I said, making people feel involved, and getting them involved in workshops and interdisciplinary work and supporting people to work across disciplines. We're taking that forward and trying to enhance those collaborations now. So we've got interdisciplinary workshops planned for the Easter time, but we've also had some money from Santander that will help us to get some Global Academies fellows in place. We've also had money from HEFQ to help us boost our innovation. So we'll be using that to take this initiative forward. So we're doing the involvements, we're getting people involved in the collaboration. And I think the next step there will be to work with our international partners and local partners to get them involved in what we're doing. So it might be a bit tricky, but things like online events make that perhaps a bit easier than they might be in real life. So that'll be the next step. And someone had posted about the link between the research and the taught masters, and of course, yes, that's where we see this going. So the new kinds of research that we are developing now will inform our new taught masters provision going forward. So, you know, our education is and will continue to be research led. Di, I think this will be our final question in order to keep the event to time. You have a question from Alan Hardman about what ways you see the connections developing between the human performance and other global problems. Could you take that, please?
Yes, thank you, Leila. Thanks, Leila. That's a really poignant question for this launch. If you think back to the beginning of the presentation where Cara identified the UN Sustainability Goals and the Wellbeing of Future Generations Act, that's exactly what the Health and Human Performance Global Academy, that's exactly where we need to be going. We need to be thinking a little bit more differently than we've done before around what is health and human performance, and working with colleagues and partners around the world to address exactly those bigger problems, Alan, that you've identified. So it's all about using the global academies to take on that agenda. So thank you for raising that.
And so I think we will bring our Q&A to an end now. Thank you very much, everybody, for your questions and also for your comments in the Q&A boxes. Really appreciate that. And anything that we don't answer, we will be updating our web pages with relevant information related to the questions that we didn't get to today. So please do keep an eye on them. And I will now hand back to our Vice Chancellor, Cara, who will close the event for us. Thank you, Cara.
Thank you, Leila. Just a few very brief closing remarks from me. I want to thank everyone who's attended this event. We have had attendance from all around the world and it's been fantastic to see. I also want to thank the team behind the scenes, Sheldon, Leila, the directors or the heads of the Global Academies. What a fantastic job, and it's wonderful to see this come to fruition after quite a long period of incubation. So I hope you leave the event with a better understanding of the impact that the Global Academies are having and will go on to make across Wales and the wider world. And we talk here at Cardiff Met about being values driven. And all of the academies have at their heart quality of life. This focus on improving quality of life is something that we see in our efforts to enhance economic prosperity, social inclusion, and environmental sustainability. But they're also about working collaboratively and positively with partners across education, across industry, across innovation. And these academies build on this way of working at Cardiff Met. And I think we've been fairly successful to date, but this is now about a step change. We can't do this on our own. We need our partners to work with us. And I'd really encourage you to explore how you can interact with the Global Academies. We've got an absolutely fantastic website for the academies, and there are tabs where you can click on collaborate with us or study with us under each of the Global Academy web pages. And I really do hope to hear from you in the future so that together we can work collaboratively to find the challenges that will help, to find the solutions rather, that will help us overcome these challenges, particularly at a really difficult time for all of us, post-Brexit, post-COVID, new horizons, and clearly education, research and innovation will play a key role in overcoming some of the challenges that we've all had to deal with in 2020. I'd really like to thank you for taking the time to attend this event. Lots of the questions were about communication and how we'll know when we've got there, where we're trying to get to, how we'll measure the milestones. And I think there's probably a need for us to find some regular way of updating people on our progress that goes above and beyond the website. So please look out. We've got mailing details, obviously, and we'll perhaps host another event in the near future to let you know about our progress. So thank you very much for attending.